tutors. I am recording this tutor orientation so that if you'd like, you can go back and review some of the things that you learned during the presentation originally. My name is Patty. I'm the Tutor Education Coordinator and ESL teacher at Solutions in Hometown Connections. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can email me at patty@shconnections.org. Merritt Groschel is the Executive Director and Founder of SHC, and you can reach her by email at merritt@shconnections.org. Who are the tutees? Who are the people you may be working with? Our tutees, or students, come from 39 countries and counting. They come from countries like Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, Yemen, Venezuela, Colombia, and Mexico, amongst others. A lot of our students are refugees, although not all of them. They speak many languages. They speak Swahili, Kinyarwanda, French, Arabic, Spanish, Pashto, Dari, Farsi, Karen or Burmese, Tamil or Sinhala, amongst other languages. They also have a varied educational background. You may be working with a student that has never been to school before coming to the United States. You may work with a student that has a PhD, but their educational background is varied. Some have limited or interrupted schooling. Some may have graduated from high school. Some may have attended a trade school or even gone to college or through a graduate program. So their experiences with schooling varies significantly. They also come from a number of work experiences prior to coming to the U.S. Our students may have been homemakers, teachers or professors, translators, maintenance workers, farmers, mechanics, engineers, tailors or seamstresses, business owners, hospitality workers, police officers, or even journalists. It's great to learn about our students and where they come from and what they know. Here is a video about a family from Myanmar or Burma. I'm going to play it so you get to know about students that you may be working with, what they have experienced before coming to the U.S.
It's very hard for a family to start a life in a new place. I do see the team, the manager. He would want his two daughters to be educated and to get a better life compared to theirs.
And so today we're just going to ask you questions about your family, your education, your dreams for your children, so that we can help you prepare to start in the new school system here in the U.S.
Khai hết khai rồi ô là có America meu đó như hết tiêu là con như hết tiêu là có America đi vào đi đấy thì là quỳ ở ta ở meu đấy như hết tiêu vậy ô vào lấy là con đi vào đấy.
Now that you've met our tutees, we'll talk about what tutees need from you. They need your friendship. You may be the first Americans that they meet. They need your mentorship. They're new to the United States, so they're not really sure where to turn for resources or information. They need your compassion. What they're going through is very difficult. They need English education. They need to be able to speak the language so that they can obtain jobs, navigate the community, support their children in school. They need cultural education. The United States is probably very, very different from their native countries, so they need to get a better understanding of the culture they live in now. They need your commitment. They need to know that you will be there when you agree to be there with them. They need information about resources that may help them for clothing, for food, for health care, all kinds of resources. And of course, they need help navigating and understanding their new world. They may come to you with questions about something that occurred in their environment that you can help them better understand. However, there are things that you should not provide to your tutee, and those include money. You can refer them to resources, but you should not give them your own money. Transportation. In their communities, there are busing systems and taxis and things like that that they can rely upon without having to rely upon you. Gifts. This is the gray area because if they're appreciative and they want to give you food, that's okay. But if they're giving you something that has monetary value, then perhaps that's not acceptable. And likewise, if you give them food or maybe a card or like a birthday cake, that's acceptable. But you should never give them gifts of higher monetary value. You do not need to offer them child's care. There are resources for that as well. Accompaniment to doctor's appointments, school meetings, etc. There are resources for that. Support beyond what you signed up for with Solutions and Hometown Connections. If they're asking you for something and you're not sure whether you should provide it, please reach out to Merritt or to myself. We want to keep our tutors safe and doing what you signed up to do. You don't need to do more than that. Let's talk about the different roles that you could fulfill at SHC. One role is as a tutor educator or literacy tutor for beginner students. Another role is an English tutor. And lastly, you could be a conversation partner. First, we'll talk about the literacy tutor for beginner students, which is probably our most needed role for tutors. A literacy tutor for beginner students meets with tutees like 2 or 3 times a week for 15 to 30 minutes each time. Your job would be to build foundational literacy skills using the Teach ABC English and similar resources that we have on our Google Drive, which I'll show you later. You can teach students how to read using phonics, read common sight words, and write in English. This is really what they need at this level. And you want to help your tutee to gain basic survival language skills. So I will show you in a bit, but the literacy tutor for beginner students has many resources. So you can use our Teach ABC English books 1 and 2. You could also use our Reading Skills Stories books 1 and 2. So these are the resources that we use as a school. There are also other resources that you can use: picture dictionaries, flashcards, beginner reader books, and more. Here is a simple lesson format that you could use for your beginner students if you were a literacy tutor for them. The first thing you would do is review prior learning each day, or you could connect the day's lesson to something they're familiar with. So when we talked about work experiences or educational experiences or life experiences that they previously had, you could connect to that. Then you would teach the new material, work together on the topic that you're learning about or teaching, and then you would check the tutee's understanding. Make sure they're understanding the topic as you've explained it. So here is a sample lesson. If we're talking about the A vowel sounds, so A-Y, I-G-H, O-O, O-U, O-W, first we would start with reviewing the lesson that you had done previously. So maybe last week or earlier in the week, you were talking about digraph sounds, perhaps A-I, E-E, E-A, and O-A. You would have your tutee read words with these sounds just to show that they still have mastery over those sounds, but also leading into the new sounds. So this is connecting to your new digraph sounds: A, Y, I, G, H, O, 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 U, and O, W. Then you would teach these new sounds. You would practice saying the sounds together. You would show pictures with the words that included those sounds, and you would have the tutees repeat the words after you say them. Then you would work together, so you would go through all those pictures again several times, having them repeat after you. Then you would show the tutee the pictures and words and ask them to read them independently. Only help the tutee if they cannot remember on their own. The next role you could do as an English tutor at SHC would be an English tutor. An English tutor meets with the high beginner or intermediate level tutees for 1 or 2 times a week. Each session would be about 30 minutes. You would supplement the curriculum that we're using at SHC for the English class that your tutee is taking. You would prepare materials in order to target specific needs of the tutee. So they may need more help with writing or reading or workplace-related vocabulary. You may emphasize these specific needs at times more so even than the English skills they're learning in class, depending on how important it is for them to succeed here in the U.S. The resources that we use at school are Ventures, the Ventures curriculum, which is basic, level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. We also have Ventures supplementary information like workbooks, picture or dictionaries, collaborative activities, Ventures Arcade, and more. You could also use other resources that you find online, intermediate readers, picture dictionaries, journals, and more. For an English tutor, you may want to use this lesson planning format. First, you would review the prior learning that they've already done with you, or connect today's lesson to the tutee's background knowledge. Again, that would be if they've had work experience or life experience that you're aware of or interests, you may connect to that. Then you would teach the new material. You would work together on the topic and check that the tutee is understanding what you've been teaching. So here is an example. So let's say that you are going to be teaching the simple present tense in its negative form. First, you would want to review what you've already taught, which would be the simple present verb tense. So you would show your tutee a couple of pictures and then have him or her verbally create sentences using the simple present format. Then you would show your tutee an affirmative sentence and show them how to incorporate the don't or doesn't. Show them the placement for don't or doesn't in the sentence. And talk about how you make the sentence format. You'd also talk about isn't and aren't because you're using the negative simple present form. Together, you would have your tutee and yourself change several affirmative sentences to negative by adding don't or doesn't or using isn't or aren't. And then you would have the tutee do this on their own and show you that they can do it on their own. The last kind of role that you could do as an educational tutor would be the conversational partner. As a conversation partner, you would work with an intermediate level tutee and give your tutee speaking and listening practice. You would review the theme and vocabulary that your tutee is learning in their English class. So a lot of our Ventures books are based on themes such as navigating the community or healthcare, and you can focus on that theme and vocabulary with your meetings with your tutee. When you meet, you can practice this language with them. Have general conversations about anything that interests you and your tutee. So some of the technical resources that we use are WhatsApp, FaceTime, Zoom, Skype, Google Meets. You can choose to meet with any of these types of technical resources. The school resources that we use are the Ventures textbooks or Teach ABC. And there are lots of pictures you can use and the vocabulary in these textbooks. Also, you can use lots of picture dictionaries, cultural situations, so pictures of school or hospital or work, various conversational starters that you can find online, to help with developing a conversation that you're going to use to meet with your tutee. So this is a format that you could use each time you meet. A consistent introduction, the topic or the variable conversation subject that you're going to address, and then a consistent farewell. So here is an example. So each time you would start with a fairly similar introduction. Hi Maria, how are you? Good, how are you? Great, how's your family? Good, that's nice to hear. I thought today we could talk about the grocery store, all right? Okay. And then you would talk about the grocery store, talk about the topic. What can you tell me about the grocery store? Ask questions and facilitate a discussion. You can supplement your discussion with pictures or definitions as you need. And then you would end with a consistent farewell. So, can we meet next on Tuesday at 3 o'clock? Sure, okay. It was great talking to you. Nice talking to you too. I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay, goodbye, goodbye. Okay, so here are some other resources and troubleshooting that we're going to discuss next. So each week we have tutor meetings, and I will show you our Google Classroom where you can find the entire list of tutor meetings that we will have. We also have tutor videos. The tutoring tip videos can be found in our Google Classroom. If you scroll down, you'll find the videos here. And you can click on the link and it'll bring you just where we were. So we have videos on a whole bunch of different things. So here we have one on giving consistent input, just talking, silence is okay, using contractions, tutoring ideas for different levels, and it goes to lots of different topics. Just scroll down to find one that would be interesting for you. I am going to go back to our classrooms so I can show you when our tutoring meetings are. So in 2022, we have meetings up for January, February, March, and April. Here is the Zoom link. If you need the ID or passcode, they're here as well. Okay. We also have on the Google Classroom the Google Drive, tutoring resources and Google Drive. And I'm going to show you, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to show you all of our resources on Google Classroom. All right, so you want to go into the classwork section. So I already showed you the videos. If you go to the top, you have the Tutor Orientation, which will have all of the information that you've just found in this presentation or just heard. Then you can look at our SHC student class materials. If you click here, you'll go to our Google Drive with all of our class materials that you have access to. So you have all of the ventures, you have Teach ABC, and then you have lots of other topics like driving, civics and citizenship, health literacy, holidays and events, reading, pronunciation, and more. If you scroll down further, so here are the videos, we have lots of helpful resources that relate to different modalities. So if you're looking for a dictionary that you could use, you can click on this Google Doc. and it will take you to a whole number of dictionaries that you can use in working with your tutee. We have vocabulary resources, reading and spelling resources. I'll show you this one. So we have phonics and spelling, different readers. So if you want to read with your tutee, there's a whole bunch of different places you can go for that. Related to the textbook, and I'm going to be adding a new one for that. So conversation resources, if you have a conversation partner. There's a class, there's some recordings you can use, textbooks that you can use just for conversation. And then this is for your personal interests. So if you just want to learn more, you can go here. We have lots of mental health issues that you can learn about related to your tutee that you may be working with. There's some statistics, some policy issues, and we'll continue to add economics. We'll continue to add to this, but if you happen to come across any resources that you think would be helpful for anyone else, you can just click here and then add a resource of your own that you might think would be helpful to other people. So you can click on this form and enter information. So your name, what's the name of the resource, where would you find it, and then a brief description of it. And we have frequently asked questions, and then of course questions and concerns. Okay, troubleshooting. Sometimes you may encounter problems in working with your tutee. Similar problems, or some of the more frequent problems, are maybe your tutee is not showing up and they're canceling all the time, even though you've gone out of your way to set up appointments with them. You have a new job, or your tutee has a new job, let's say, and when you used to meet is no longer working and you're struggling to find a new time that does. You feel that you could use help with structuring learning or meeting the needs of your tutee. Everything that you're trying is not working the way you'd like it to. You're looking for some advice. You are noticing family issues that seem kind of serious. You're noticing a change in behavior or maybe even signs of abuse. The match with your tutee is just not working. It's very difficult. Things just don't seem to go well. Or any other problems. If you are encountering anything that you feel you could use support with, then just reach out to me or to Merit. And welcome. We're so happy that you are part of the SHC team.
Welcoming, I think, it's a lot easier than people make it out to be. It's just about showing up.
We chatted over the coffee at the Java.
We were looking for a new bar bag.
Had someone knocking, then opened the door.
She's taught me to be sure of myself and who I am, and it's...
Do you remember the first few words you learned in English?
Yes, egg white.
Egg white?
Yes.
Rose, my 3-year-old, I'm pretty sure she thinks you're a princess.
So
And
sweet.
that's fun.
Si no tuviera la amistad de Kim, me sentiría como me sentía cuando era niña, completamente sola.
We're all in this together, and it pulls us into this great mesh of connection between us all. And the value there is one of the most life-affirming values you'll ever encounter.
welcoming, I think.
If you have any questions or concerns as you work with your tutee, please reach out to me. So this is my email address, or to Merritt at her email address, or you could call the main office and we'll do what we can to help you out. Again, thank you so much and welcome to the Solutions and Hometown Connections team. We're so happy to have you.